Hi guys, I thought today we'd continue to look at knight to c3 after these preliminary moves. As we mentioned, this move cuts down the number of variations. Last time we studied the classical d5, but we mentioned that an alternative is to continue in King's Indian style with g6. I mean, some people have invested an awful lot of time in these Indian defenses, so it stands to reason they're going to play this no matter what. But this knight to c3 is a developing move, so some things that work in the King's Indian don't necessarily work in the related Pirc lines. So here we played a natural 3 e4, since he didn't play d5 preventing this, and we stake out our share of the center. So he'll probably play d6, and we can continue in classical style, just simple development, and get our king castled, okay? Now here's the question. What do you do with the black pieces, right? It's possible that the King's Indian player may not know the Pirc as well. So he sort of has a quandary. If he plays knight f6, right? Knight c6, he might run into d5, this position he's not really used to. So what a lot of people will do instead is play the knight to b to d7. So that move has its drawbacks. I mean, if permitted, black can play e5 in the next move, so we strike with e5 ourselves. And by comparison with the King's Indian, this sort of advance is harmless in the King's Indian, but in the Pirc with the extra developing move knight to c3 is actually quite good for white. So if he just kind of plays tamely with something like knight e8, bishop f4, c6, and we play this little move a4 to restrain b5, we have a comfortable advantage, like better control of the center, space advantage, and we can go from here. But the real question is, why can't he try to capture this pawn, right? Isn't this sort of like a dangerous possibility? Well, it turns out this is basically trap number one in the Pirc defense, because we can shatter black's pawn structure with a move like e6. Now, after something like knight de5, which is probably his best choice, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop c4, white has a comfortable advantage because of a backward pawn in the open file, the weak e6 square. Very pleasant situation for white. But suppose he tries to go in and take the pawn, which is the real question, right? Well, we capture the pawn. And now we spring our trap. Knight to g5 represents a double attack. This wayward knight here is under attack, and the pawn on e6 is under attack too. So if we, for example, play something like retreating the knight, then after capture, queen e8, knight takes c7, and we're going to win the exchange. And unlike a similar position in the Philidor, this pawn on g6 actually hinders black. There's a position in the Philidor where this happens all the time, and black is fine because he can post his queen aggressively, something like queen g6, you know. But this pawn hinders black's counterattack, so white is just really up a lot of material here for nothing. If he tries another approach after knight g5, let's say he brings this knight out here, we can capture this knight. And if he simply plays knight takes bishop, we're up a piece, right? And if we try trading queens, we very carefully recapture with the bishop to give him nothing to capture, and we're just up a piece that way. So this early e5 by white has a lot of venom to it. So this is a position you can play for with knight c3. And a lot of times an unprepared opponent who knows the King's Indian but not the Pirc might fall into a very difficult position. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a great day. Take care.